So, question 3. In this question, you will be faced with your language features question, which you have, of course, on paper 1 and on the old specifications as well. A language feature question isn't new, so what we've got to do is make sure that you're aware of how to tackle it and be confident in this one. You have done it before. So for question 3 then, you now need to refer only to source A and only from lines 13 to 23 in the text that was given here. So it's a small amount of text, and you really need to focus on the language features that are within that section. How does the writer use language to describe the storm? So we know it's the language feature question. It's the key bit that's after that that you want to focus on, the description of the storm. Everything else is either irrelevant or will help you back up your point, but you must answer the question. Now this one's for 12 marks, so you've got roughly about 12 to 15 minutes on this one. What you're looking to do is keep to your system of possibly point, evidence, explain, if you remember that one, or you might be using the what, how, why for your paragraph, that system, or maybe even Peter, which is point, evidence, technique, explain, and reader. Whichever system you use, you must focus on the key requirements. The first one is your main point, your main language feature that you want to put in. So you could start your sentence with the writer uses and then put in the appropriate language term. Your evidence is your quotation. You must get your quotations in to prove that you've not only found the language feature, but you can reference it in the text itself. And then you want to explain that technique and really do explain and analyze the writer's intentions here. Why have they used that language term and what does it represent in the text itself? You could use a sentence stem here, such as this implies that, or this suggests that, or this shows that. But make sure that you really do focus on analysing why that language feature has been used. Analysis is the key skill in the reading sections of the exam. And if you can do it well, you will get rewarded highly for it. You also want to finish up your paragraphs with the effect on the reader. And that isn't someone outside of the paper itself. The reader is you. You're the one reading the text. So the effect that it has on you, this language feature. What is your interpretation of the writer's use of that language feature? What does it make you think and feel towards the storm on this occasion? So make sure that you have 3 to 4 very good points where you have a language feature, a quotation, and a good solid analysis of why the writers use that language feature and the effect on the reader. If we look at an example response here from the exam board, from the same question, how the writer uses language to describe the storm here, you can see the system that we've just discussed coming into effect here. So the writer uses a series of harsh metaphors and strong adjectives to stress the storm's utter devastating state. The storm is said to be ripping onto the tents in a blinding fury of driving snow. If we go down a little further there, we've got that the storm itself creates the effect that the storm is like a vicious animal. Without reading the entire source here, what we can see is that there is a system in place for a level 3 response, a clear and relevant response here. So we start off in the yellow there with harsh metaphors and strong adjectives. The student here has clearly picked up on some relevant language features. And then we have a comment on the effect of the language to stress the storm's utter devastating state. That's a brief analysis there of why the writer has used those language terms. And then we look at the green section where we have our quotations. They're relevant and they're clear, ripping onto the tents in a blinding fury. The student has clearly picked up on some relevant information and can see and explain that the writer has used those words on purpose. In the orange section, a clear explanation of the effect of the language is given, and that is really important that you do focus on the analysis. A language feature, a quotation, and developed analysis will get you your clear and relevant response for level 3.